How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. So we will jump over to the total for right now. I was looking at Bitcoin briefly just before the video, but we are pushing above this support, potentially making that rounding bottom that we said to look out for. So I would watch for a strong green candle to continue to break us above this red candle. If we break above that red candle, then we could push into the golden pocket area. However, if we get rejected by that red candle's resistance area, we could see a rejection of the flag and a continuation to the downside. So I would exercise caution, because if we get that continuation to the downside, remember, we could drop all the way to around 478. Stochastic is dropping. Our side does want to bounce. Our VWAP, our yellow wave, does want to break forward through that neutral area, so that is positive. Our momentum is gaining some strength, that blue wave pushing up as that VWAP tries to break bullish. Remember, if that VWAP can break bullish and hold, momentum will gain strength, and our money flow would go from being red into the green, and we could see continued bullish momentum from there. Over on the 4 hour, we had some indecision, but we did manage to push forward. I would like to see some sort of a retracement and a retest before we continue forward. That way we can have a more healthy move up. Remember, a quick move up could be retraced by a quick move down. Stochastic is pretty flat. RSI is flat. Our VWAP is trying to remain bullish. We're slightly inching up, but we're starting to round right now, so I would just watch the lower time frames. Momentum did break bullish, pushing that money flow into the green, so that is positive for the 4 hour, which could start to strengthen the daily. Over on the 2 hour, we do have that VWAP pulling back. The money flow did want to break up, and the momentum is starting to round, so I would watch that VWAP very close. If our VWAP breaks for a lower low, and then we cannot get back above that zero area, we will see momentum start to round away, and that would bring our money flow lower, giving us that rejection. And if we see money flow reject, we could start to push down. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to run forward. We did get a reversal arrow that tried to bring us down, but that's why I don't really rely on them, because they don't really play out too often in my opinion. Momentum does want to round. RSI is pulling back. Stochastic does want to drop. That VWAP is in the bearish territory, but money flow is doing good. Watch that VWAP close. We do have lower lows, so if we can't bounce and get through that zero, our money flow will start to round away as that momentum would break down, and that would start to weaken those higher time frames, giving us that rejection from the bottom of our channel. And remember, if we do reject that or a 300 EMA, the bears would still have a strong grip on us, and they could push us down toward that 478 area. So we won't really cover dominance or futures because they don't trade on the weekends. Dominance might. Dominance did go down a little bit as Bitcoin gained, but it did not gain as much as total. Remember, usually when dominance starts to slide, that does show that our altcoins could start to run. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did have a potential pattern to run us up. We could jump here to the 1 hour, so that was our bull flag. That bull flag did pretty much play out. I am going to delete it at this point. That does not mean we won't go all the way up. But remember, you don't want to go for the max move for either direction. Pigs get slaughtered. Stochastic does want to push up. Momentum is starting to round here on the 1 hour. RSI does want to run forward, so if that stochastic can remain bullish, RSI could remain bullish as well. Money flow is gaining strength as that VWAP is struggling, so I would watch. The VWAP is slightly trending down, but we're trying to break that neutral. If we reject the neutral here, momentum will start to round away, money flow would start to break down. However, if we do reclaim that neutral, and we can create another wave just like back here, a strong bullish wave, then we could see this bullish momentum continue. We did get a little bit of consolidation both ways when we continued to move. So while the higher time frames look like we did a quick run up, the lower time frames did get retests, so that is more of a healthy move up than just dumping or running up. So here we just dumped, here we kind of sidestepped our way, kind of chopped away as we moved up. So this is a healthier move than this, because this has some fluctuation and this is one way. So we'll jump over to the daily. That daily is breaking back into our pattern. If we can hold this push and we can run forward, we would have the potential for that pattern to still play out. VWAP does want to push up. Momentum is gaining strength. Stochastic does want to bounce up, and RSI is pushing forward. So remember, this could bring us around 92K if that does play out. We did make it bounce off that 300 EMA, that very strong area. Remember, that's 300 daily candles it takes to move that. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening. I would watch. VWAP is remaining bullish, and momentum is breaking, bringing money flow lower. So watch if the lower time frames can gain bullish momentum. Over on the 4 hour, we are seeing a decent run forward. Stochastic is pretty flat. RSI is running up. VWAP does have higher highs, so this is positive. Momentum is pushing with money flow breaking bullish. So this is all good things to see. I would just watch that the 1 and 2 hour can maintain that bullish momentum. Over on the 2 hour, Stochastic is rounding. Momentum does want to round. VWAP is starting to break down, so I would watch. If it breaks at neutral, momentum will pull back, and money flow could start to sell off. Over on the 1 hour, real quick, we do have that bullish break of money flow, but with that VWAP looking like it could pull back, I would watch VWAP close. If that yellow wave rejects our neutral, momentum will fall, money flow could weaken, and we could see that cascade the higher time frames. However, if we do hold this bullish momentum for several more candles here, I'd say throughout the night, then we could see those higher time frames start to run forward and retest that 63K. If we get a retest and hold, that would be very good, as that would put us above that 300 EMA and that critical resistance we have been struggling with. Then we can talk about the 65.5. So over on graph for the daily, we do have the same rounded bottom we said to look for on Bitcoin and graph. Stochastic is dropping. RSI does want to make a bounce, so if that Stochastic can regain above that 30, that would be positive for RSI, and RSI would help push price action up. VWAP does want to break that neutral. Momentum is gaining strength. Money flow does want to push up, so we do look decent here. I would just watch those lower time frames, much like everything else. Over on that 4 hour, Stochastic is pretty maxed out. RSI is running up as a result. VWAP is holding a bullish trend. Momentum is flipping bullish, and money flow is gaining strength. This does look positive, so I would watch for that to hold. Over on the 2 hour, our Stochastic is pretty flat. VWAP is pulling back with lower highs, so I would watch those lower highs to give us the potential to see that VWAP break the neutral, and if that VWAP does break our neutral, momentum will round away, money flow could reject, and the higher time frames would weaken. That would cause a retracement and a possible push back to the 16,316. Over on our 1 hour, we do have a pretty decent run up here. Again, we do have that kind of chop up and down as we moved up rather than a straight shot down. So this is a more healthy move forward than we saw with our drop down. So there's less chances it could be retraced. Momentum does want to pull back. Stochastic is dropping. RSI is pretty flat. I would watch if that Stochastic continues to drop down. RSI could weaken and bring price action lower. I would watch if we can break this EMA. If we reject that EMA and push to the orange one, we could start to break EMAs and push lower. VWAP is in the bearish territory, so I would watch that push to the bearish side could bring momentum lower, and then money flow could start to reverse. If that happens, those higher time frames are going to weaken. So over on Ankr for the daily, we do have a push down. We did break very quick. We are trying to retrace some of that push, so that is positive. We did push our 2673, and we are trying to push and hold above. So watch the next couple candles close. If we reject that EMA and the resistance area, we could still continue lower. VWAP is in the bearish territory. Momentum does want to push up. Money flow is trying to gain strength, but if that VWAP rejects, momentum will continue to favor bearish, and money flow will remain weak, causing further sell-off as people are selling more than they're buying. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a pretty quick move up, so watch if the lower time frames look more healthy like the other coins. VWAP is running forward, momentum is gaining strength, money flow is starting to struggle, but if that VWAP can remain bullish with these higher highs and higher lows, momentum will break neutral, and then money flow could start to gain strength. I would strengthen the daily and the 4 hour. Our Stochastic does want to round here, and RSI is showing signs that it does want to pull back, so I would watch if that Stochastic breaks. On the 2 hour, we do have a potential for a long upper shadow, so I would watch as we did get that long lower shadow that propelled us up. Long upper shadow does the opposite. Momentum does want to round. VWAP is pulling back. Stochastic could start to drop. We're pretty maxed out and have been for quite some time, so I would just keep an eye on it. VWAP is pushing up, but it doesn't really have much more it can go. this could still push price action further, but again, we are getting overbought for quite some time, so I would watch for a quick retracement, then a push. We pretty much just ran up very quick, unlike the rest of the market that we've covered so far. You want more like this 1 hour where you get this chop here. We don't really have much chop in between here, so we could retest this blue EMA, hopefully make a bounce and continue forward. Momentum does want to round. That VWAP is starting to break down like everything else, so I would watch. If that VWAP does reject, we could see momentum round away, stochastic would fall and RSI would follow. That would lead price action lower and a retest of the 2338. So I would watch very close. We need to break this resistance and hold or get pushed toward that support level of that blue EMA and then make a strong bounce, then break that resistance and hold. Otherwise, we could start to pull back. So over on XRP for the daily, we do have somewhat of a rounding bottom going here as well. Again, we want to break and hold above that red candle. If we can't break it and hold above the red candle on these rounding bottoms, we could see a rejection and a pullback still. VWAP does want to push up, momentum is gaining strength, stochastic does want to bounce, and RSI is running forward, so we do look positive. I would watch if that VWAP can break bullish and hold though. Over on the 4 hour, we are running up pretty quick, so again, exercise caution because a quick move one way is retraced by a quick move the other. VWAP is pushing up, momentum's gaining strength. Our RSI is pushing up as our stochastic is pretty max and money flow is running pretty decent, so the 4 hour does look decent. Again, I would just exercise a bit of caution. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic has been overbought for quite some time ever since we ran up, as we just pretty much made a quick run up. VWAP is pulling back, momentum does want to push forward, money flow is remaining bullish, but again, watch as a quick run up could be retraced by a quick drop down. The 1 hour does look a little healthier. We do have some retests, some pullback, but not very much. Our stochastic does show signs it could start to weaken. RSI would follow. Momentum does want to round with the red dot as VWAP is breaking down. So I would watch. If that VWAP continues to break down, we will see momentum start to drop and money flow will start to reverse. Finally, over on ALGO for the daily, rounding bottom here as well. Stochastic is dropping, RSI is pushing up, VWAP does want to push up, momentum is gaining strength, and the money flow is trying to run up. So providing we do the same as the rest of the market that we laid out, we could try to continue forward. Stochastic does want to round away here, VWAP is remaining bullish, momentum does want to push through that neutral, so that's positive, giving money flow strength, but watch for that strength to hold on our lower time frames. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic does want to round away, VWAP is starting to pull back, momentum does want to round as that VWAP's breaking down, so money flow is getting indecisive. I would watch very close as that could end up breaking us down. We did pretty much run up very quick here too. Momentum does want to round on the 1 hour as VWAP is breaking down, so I would watch that VWAP very close. Again, if it continues to drop away from here, momentum will pull back, money flow will flip into the red, and we could see price action retrace. Ideally, we would hit that 1350, make a bounce, and then continue forward, or we break and hold that EMA. If we push above that EMA, then reject, we could see further losses. So again, watch that EMA close. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I appreciate all of you. Have a great night.